All right, good morning, everybody. Today's day we're gonna follow the tree that's near the garden. All right, just gonna be fueling up the chainsaw, cutting down the tree today. Putting the oil in. And this tree is not a huge tree, but just like in sports, if your opponent, you always assume your opponent is a tough opponent, even if you've heard that they're a weaker team. You still play at a level that's your A game. Same thing with trees. Small tree, you might think it's better or easier, but it's just as dangerous as a big tree. So we're going to take it pretty serious today. Cutting down that cedar right there. So this cedar here is going, it's not very high, 50 to 60 feet maybe. And it should come over pretty straightforward, but again, I never take a tree for granted, ever. Small, big, large. I mean, obviously if I can manhandle it with one hand, I'm not going to worry about it, but anything bigger than, it's something to not play around with. Trees are always dangerous, big, small, just like a ladder. A ladder is dangerous at 100 feet. It's also dangerous at 1 foot. Same idea. So never underestimate your opponent, ever. Well, that's enough for analogies. Let's get to it. Kind of excited. My dad should be coming down soon too. Check out this little froggy. It's kind of a neat picture. It's got the axe. And look at him in there. Frog or toad. Just blended right into the dirt. Okay, we're set up. I cut her down. Just gonna clear out some of the junk around here first. Let me get some of these rocks out of here. This one's basically our throwaway pile for the rocks for the garden. I'm not going to be coming near this, but I just like a clear work area. As you can see, I just like to have a really clean area, especially when you're following a tree. You don't want to be tripping on a stone that's turned up or some dirt, or you just want to have everything cleaned out so you can get things done properly. So this takes a little bit of time, so just bear with the process. Thanks. And again, I'm cleaning things up, getting the branches that are kind of in my face, and this little branches that are up above. And even though it's a big saw, it's kind of awkward, but it is what it is. It could give me good reach anyway. But these are just things that make me feel better. Sorry for my arse end in the camera here, but that's the way she goes. And yeah, just clean all around. Like I said, I just want a good work area. I don't want any surprises. There's enough going on in your mind when you're falling a tree. And again, this is not a huge tree, but the diameter, probably where I'm cutting it, is probably 2 feet. So it's not a small tree by any stretch, but it's not a big tree. And it's leaning slightly the direction that I do fall it. So it's not a hard fall. But it is near the garden, and if I mess it up, it cracks through the new fence that we put up. So you have to always be watching and thinking as you go and fall trees. Here I'm just making my plan of where I'm going to cut, and the first cut is the most important cut, and there I'm laying into it. And obviously I'm going to follow it away from the garden, but not quite in line with the fence, maybe 10 degrees away from the fence into the field. That's the plan. And so I take a few little checks back and forth. As you can see, there's the first check, and I noticed I had to go a little bit more. I had to actually bring a little bit back, otherwise it would have been too far away. And I think I do one more adjustment, bringing it slightly back. And for those that don't know, there's a line on the saw that you kind of can line it up with. There's actually a mark on the saw where you can look to see where the actual line of sight's going to be. You can see me make a motion there in a moment. I should anyway. I think I do. Maybe I do one more adjustment. I think I do. Yeah, so there it is. And then I think I do there it is, line of sight. There we go. And then comes the fun part, and I'm trying to learn to do the Humboldt undercut, which is kind of fun to line up, and it looks like you're way off on the bottom there, but then actually it comes right around. And this one actually worked out really well for me, to be honest. Usually I really struggle, or can struggle with these, because I don't do it as often as I'd like. So as I'm cutting through, as you'll see, I pull the camera towards, you'll see the cut. So just pay attention and go from there. See here, I'm just showing you the line. That line worked out really well, and then the other side, as you can see, it's going to line up pretty good here. So I got pretty fortunate, didn't have to do much adjusting. Whoops, and as you saw there, the saw and the actual undercut piece actually fell right out, which was actually pretty good. And then I do a little bit of just fine tuning on the inside there, and then I think I do show you again the inside cut. Might be a little narrow on the inside there, more than I wanted, but I didn't want to fool around with it too much, to be honest with you, because it turned out pretty good. So a little bit of fighting with the chain, like the round chain filing, the chain kind of skips a little bit in there, but that's just is what it is. back cut. Just orientating the camera so you can see it a little better here. And then you'll see me grab the saw. And I had to decide what side to cut it from. Even though I was kind of a little bit sandwiched between the sign and the tree, I felt better doing it from that side. That way I could leave more holding wood on my side there just in case, so then it didn't all of a sudden just go over to the left and hit the fence. I wouldn't do it anyway, but I just felt more comfortable on this side. A little bit easier to take control of. And I think I just put a little wedge in here just to, even though I didn't think I needed it, but just nice to have that security, because you could even feel it moving away or see it moving away a little bit right about now. So I'm not going to go any further there. From this side, I can run over here. This is a pretty good view where you can see the fence. It's about 15 feet away on the left side there, and that makes it a little bit easier to understand why I'm kind of keeping it away. So I'm kind of following it a little bit of an angle to the left. Let's see the stump. So there she be. There's the holding wood. It's not a lot, but it's enough. She worked out well. How far did it come? Oh yeah, not very far. And now we can get the afternoon sun coming on this part of the garden. See, the morning sun is compromised up here already, but we didn't want to have morning and afternoon compromised. Right here, there's a bunch of rocks on the other side here, and I just do not want to hit my chain on a rock. That's the last thing I want to do. So I'm going to be taking like 18 inches just for firewood off the end of this for the end of the log. The rest of the log we're planning on making cedar rails out of, and then maybe some posts, and then we'll use the branches to get some small firewood. Not that we need it, but we don't want it to go to waste.
And as far as the stump, I am taking the stump down so we can kind of get rid of it because I don't want it looks kind of unsightly. And I like to take my stumps down as far as I can. So this one I just took about 18 inches again for firewood, and then I take another little round off of it, maybe 6 inches, just to get it down a little bit lower. It was actually quite a bit of rot actually when I went down to this level, which you'll see on the second cut. And so as I'm cutting this, I go around and then I just put a wedge on the far side to keep it from binding. And just what I like to do. And then, as I said, to get the last little part of the stump down, I think I do some dirt cleanup. I just don't want to be hitting any dirt or rocks, so I just make sure there's nothing there. I did cut it quite a ways above the ground level, but because we had been dumping a bunch of dirt here from the garden, I just didn't want to take any, again, I just do not like sharpening a chain after it's been hit by dirt or rock. It is only something I will do if I have to, but if I can prevent it, man, I will prevent that, because it is an absolute pain to get a chain back from when you've rocked a chain. Now it's on to the limbing, and as far as the limbing goes, a little bit longer than normal because I wanted to get as much firewood as we could out of these. So as you can see, I'm taking all the little pieces of cedar branches off, and then I'm cutting little 18-inch pieces off of each limb, the most I can, just because while it's being held in place by the tree, it makes it easier while it's being held there than doing it on the ground and fighting with it. So this takes a little bit longer. I think I go through the video here and speed things up, but right there you can see each limb kind of had a whole whack of little cedar branches on it, so it was kind of a pain. And then there's my 18-inch pieces approximately, give or take.
I'll bring my truck down. We can use mine too.
You want to use that? Okay, we should back it in here then.
What's that?
I'll back it in here then.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to get as many firewood this as we could.
Even now?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so too.
But it's pretty ugly stuff on like a lot of little branches.
So you get a couple more out of these.
No, but this is the same.
Oh, so you don't want to do that?
Well, I do, but
I can bring my saw.
And I've put the video here on the fast motion to watch the limbing part, because there's no sound obviously with this part. And it took a while to get things done, as I said, just doing it this way, piece by piece, and taking a few pieces out of each one. And it was a pretty healthy tree as far as lots of limbs. And then there's my dad. He's helping out with his little saw just to get the little stuff off, and then we can kind of salvage all the stuff for firewood as much as we can. So that's the beauty of that. And here I have the video back in regular motion here, and you can just watch a little bit of that. It's kind of fun to watch. You'll see the camera kind of move as I do the bottom pieces. So I'll just stop there and you can give it a gander. More footage of the limbing, and I decided to just keep all this on fast, or not on fast motion, but on regular speed. Just two things. One is that you can kind of see the sawdust in your face, which I kind of really like in the camera personally, but also it just shows the whole process in its entirety. Doesn't take 20 minutes of work and cram it into 30 seconds. So it's just good to see how much work goes into limbing and this process, and then there's all the cleanup that has to be done yet, and so it's a long process, even though it's a smaller tree. Oh, we fell over there. The camera went kaput ski. That's kind of a neat shot, actually, with the sky. I don't know if I pick this up again, or and then I do fast motion again. Okay, then I guess at that point I was like, I'm not gonna deal with cameras falling over. So it just goes to the very end of the tree, and at the very end, I cut it off, obviously, do a few pieces of firewood, and then do a little bit more cleaning up. At this point, we're making some rails out of the first 12 feet of the end of the log. Should get about 12 rails out of it. I don't show all of it here, but just show the beginning process of it. Just using wedges to get the line, and then I have to use a chainsaw because this being such a small piece of wood, it has knots everywhere. After the 12 feet, I cut 2 10-foot posts, which will take the bark off of and then store for future posts. And actually, there's three posts.
she goes.
Okay, so let me get a reposition here.
Okay.
Okay, let me cut that there. There's a big piece here. Binding it up. Well, I better go, I guess.
Okay.
that was a longer video, but like I said, I wanted you to see the full process. Thanks for watching.